Let's talk about chord melody. Before we can put melody and chords together, we need a melody. And so today we're going to learn a simple melody, which I'm sure you've heard before. And then we're going to begin harmonizing that melody or playing it as a chord melody. The melody we'll use is Scarborough Fair. It only uses the top three strings, and the scale that it's in is actually in A Dorian. It has an F sharp in it. So the notes are that are a template for this melody are A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and A. So once again, A with the F sharp. In the key of A minor. All right, the melody goes like this. I'm going to take you through it slowly. Let's do that phrase one more time. And then we go up to the A. You can use your fourth finger too if you like. I was just avoiding my fourth finger, but here's the F sharp. Back to the A. Lowest note. All right, you can work on reading that as well if you like. Nice simple melody, pretty melody, lyrical melody, and now we want to make some connections with that melody through what the melody tells us. So what the melody tells us is that we are in the key of A Dorian because it starts and uses all the notes of A Dorian. So the next question is, well, what would the chords in A Dorian be? Well, we know that we have an A minor chord as our one chord in A Dorian. So let's start there. Okay, let's start with the one chord. My first notes are. So let's just use the one chord. You can see that my left hand didn't move at all, right? I just stayed on the A minor chord. So how did I get the melody notes? It was in the right hand that I got the melody notes. We're using a picking style. So you'll notice that my picking hand stopped at the melody note. All right, and let's move on to the next melody note. So that sounds right to me. It's an open B. Let's talk about what other chords we have available to us. We'd have to now look for a chord that has a B in it. Now, what chord would that be? Let me think. A minor. So if we go through the Dorian mode, we have A minor. A Dorian mode, A minor, B minor, C major. The C major doesn't have a B note in it. The A minor doesn't have a B note in it. The B minor chord does have a B note in it, but I know it's not a B minor. A D chord does not have a B note in it. However, an E minor chord does have a B note in it. That chord is in this scale. It's the 5 chord. Okay, let's try that. Let's try that E minor chord for the B note. Works for me. You know, I don't have a problem with that. From there, after the E minor chord in this scale, we'd have an F sharp diminished chord, and we have a G major chord. The G major chord also has a B note in it, so we can try either or. I sort of like the G major, I like that bass movement. So either or, right? That's the thing with chord melody playing. So far, you're probably noticing a few things. You may be asking yourself a few questions. First of all, is there a right way and a wrong way to play a chord melody? Yes. If it sounds bad, that's the wrong way. If it sounds good, that's the right way. Where do you start? You start with the template of the scale, because chords come from scales. This melody tells us where the chords are going to come from, because all of the notes of the melody are indicated, clearly indicated within the melody, and all the notes of the scale are thus also indicated within the notes of the melody. The scale being A Dorian, which is a minor scale. And when we build the chords of the scale in tertian harmony, tertian harmony meaning in thirds, we're going to end up with the chords. When I say in thirds, take a note, skip a note, take a note, skip a note, take a note, right? Our one chord would be A minor, 2 B minor, 3 C major, 4 chord D major, 5 chord E minor, 6 chord F sharp diminished, 7th chord G major, and then we're back to our A minor chord again. So the 5 chord E minor is sort of similar to that 7 chord. They're just different bass notes. Let's go a little bit further in our melody. I'll use the 7 chord. And you can see that I'm chopping out the notes with my right hand. Right? Now we go this part of the melody. So it begins on an E. That seems to work for me. This little chord that I've got here is an A minor chord, right? And I can just play it with my top 3 strings. Now the A minor chord has an E in it, and but the A minor chord doesn't have a G in it. But I could just, I think it sounds okay. Is there another option? Let me think. Well, we've got a C chord. I wonder what that would sound like. That has an E in it, and it has a G in it, but it doesn't have the A in it. So how about if I go C, and end up on the A minor chord? That could maybe work too, right? Or just the A minor. I'm just showing you different possibilities, and you can choose those different possibilities. What you feel best best implies the sound of the melody chordally. And then we go back. We have, how about D? There with A, definitely need that F sharp. Back to the 1. Maybe C. To the 4, because that 7 chord clearly has a G in it. It sounds sort of nice there, and then back to maybe 7 chord again. So what I'm trying to give you is the material, the toolkit whereby you can start to think of how to create a chord melody. And there's a lot of stuff going on here, and I'm aware of that. And so I just want to cover a few of those, recap those right now. Number one, you're chopping out the melody with your right hand, right? If you go past the melody note, you're going to start confusing the melody note. This is all about where your right hand is going to end up. It always has to end up at the melody note. All right, that's a really important point. The other point is you're actually harmonizing the melody. In other words, you're deciding what chords you want to hear within the melody. There are always options. There's never only one way to harmonize a melody, and that's one of the beauties of chord melody playing. You can take a simple melody and you can harmonize it in many different ways. But you want to start somewhere. You don't want to just start with all the chords in the universe. You have to start with the chords that are derived from the notes that are in the melody. That's the best place to start. This melody was clearly a Dorian melody. Right, lovely sound. Dorian is just, is one of my favorites. With the minor scale sound with a major six. There's that major six. All right, so that's just putting out great big signs that say use Dorian because the melody is in Dorian. So then we harmonize Dorian. We find the notes that are in the Dorians, the chords that are derived from the Dorian scale, and then we use those chords derived from Dorian to begin our chord melody. In this case, the melody is, it's only a ninth. It only goes as far. The entire distance goes from this low G to this high A, and the entire melody is on the top three strings. Perfect material for a chord melody because you can always keep the chords below the melody notes in that case. The idea with chord melody and the reason we play chord melody is it's an excellent way to play a solo guitar style. There are some technical considerations, as I said, with chopping out the strings in the right hand, and obviously knowing some simple chord inversions. I went up to here for the A, for instance, but it wasn't doing too much. Oh yeah, I went to, and here C, right, and you can hear how those sounds are related to this this melody. So what we're doing is taking melody and listening to the melody and letting the melody tell us what chords we should use, and then we're putting those chords together with the melody for a solo guitar style, which is called chord melody.